Take off. Move up. Move down. Do a flip. Land. You weren't expecting that flip, huh? Alright, so I hope you enjoyed that little video of me controlling my Tello drone using voice activation. And if you're a subscriber of my channel, you've been watching the build up to this. If not, please consider subscribing. And what this is a combination of two of my previous videos. The first one is controlling the Tello drone with Python and how to set that up. And then the second one, and one of my more recent video, was how to set up Vosk. And that is a library where you can go offline and use speech recognition. Now, I was told in the comments that speech recognition, the traditional library, can be offline too, but I've read that it's not very good, and this Vosk library did perfect. So you can watch the Tello drone video by clicking here and watch how you set it up and connect to it. And then you can watch the Tello video by clicking here. And I won't go too much into the setup. You can watch those previous videos if you want. And if those videos help you, or this video, please like. So let's go into the code real quick so we can see how we did that. But first, welcome to the 176th video on my channel, where I'm building my own digital assistant named Shane, like Jarvis from the Iron Man movies and comics. And if you've watched video 100, which you can watch here, I talk about all the things I want Shane to do, just like Jarvis does in Iron Man, and one of them is to control a drone, and that's what we're doing today. So pretty excited about this video. So the first thing we're going to do, and again, I'm not going to go over to the installation. You're going to have to watch the previous videos for that. But we're going to, from Vosk, import model and CALD recognizer, import Pi audio, and then from DJI Telopi. So you can watch the Tello video on that one, but just to make sure I am steering you right, I believe it's just, yeah, pip install this DJI Tello PY. So so from that, we're going to import Tello. And then I'll show you why in a second. But when you install a library, and I'm going to show you on PyCharm, you can go into this. Your project should look similar to this, whatever you called your Python files. And then in the virtual environment, right? So that's the root file. You'll see this, I believe it's in lib. Yep. And then site packages, right? And then you should, after you install it, you can see this one. And you'll see this tello.py, and this is the setup of the original. Now, big caution, note, it's not a very good practice to change the library files, because when you do a update using PyCharm automatically, it'll just override all the changes you made. So just a quick note about that. But I left some comments to myself on what I changed. So the first thing I did was going into Tello. I changed this, scroll down, this response time used to be 7 seconds. I changed it to 15. And then secondly, this logging level. So Python logging is where it shows you what it's doing. And so I changed the level from right here, logger.setLevel. I'm on line 52 on PyCharm. This used to be logging.info. I changed it to warning because the logging was interrupting the voice control. All right. So just like, and all we're going to do is kind of mesh these two previous videos together in some while loops. So first we're going to establish our Tello. So Tello equals capital Tello. Then we're going to do Tello.connect. And so make sure you watch the previous video, because the reason why having an offline speech recognition library is so important is that when you turn on your Tello drone and you connect to it on the Wi-Fi, you're going to go offline, right? You're not connected to the internet anymore. And so that's why Vosk was so important. So we're going to connect to it. I do not have a try and accept. If it doesn't connect, I want the program to fail. Then we're going to establish the model. So this is the Vosk model. Model equals model, and then you pass it where you stored the model. I go over this in depth in my Vosk video. Recognizer equals Cowdy recognizer model 16,000. Then we're going to establish a mic equals pi audio dot pi audio. And then we're going to establish a while loop, right? So in the beginning, we want listening to equal false, right? This is just a global variable that I'm using to control the while loops. Then we're going to go in this function where we get a command, right? And before I get into this, we have another function where we analyze the command. So let's scroll down first. So while true, so basically while the program is running, we're going to print waiting for command. Then command equals get command, right? So we're going to store this command using this function. Then we're going to pass that command to what I call the analyze command. And this is how we control the Tello drone. All right. So I just wanted to show you that before we get into these functions so it makes more sense. So the first thing we're going to do, it's going to print and say listening. So that's a cue for me to know. So now we're going to switch it to listening equals true. Then we're going to do stream equals mic.open. Format equals pi audio. That's pi audio integer 16. I'm going to just say paint 16. Make sure this I is capitalized. Channels equals 1. Rate equals 16,000. Input equals true. Frames per buffer is 8,192. Again, not going to go over this. You can watch my Vosk installation video. And so that's going to be outside of this while loop, right? So while listening, this is the same thing as saying while listening is true, which it is now. We're going to do stream.startStream. And then we're going to try. So data equals stream.read. You pass it this 4096. And if the recognizer.accept waveform, this data. So if this is true, right? So if it accepts the waveform, the result equals recognizer.result with the capital R. Then the response equals result starting at the 14th index going all the way to -3. And so what you're doing is the Vosk library gives you a string that looks like a list item, but it's not a list item, it's just a string. So all we're doing is trimming that string down. And then we're going to set this listening to false. So we break from this while loop. We're going to close the stream. And we're going to return this response, right? So now we have this string, just the string of what we say. So I had to accept this OS error, and then we just pass on it, because if I go too long without saying something, or if it doesn't recognize it as a sound, you'll get an OS error, and I just want it to pass, right? So it's going to go to this while loop, and if you get this error, it's going to pass and come back into this while loop. And you will never know as a user that it did that. All right, so what it's going to do, so now we have this command equals get command. So this command now is equal to this response. That's what you're returning in this. And we're going to pass that command to the analyze command, right? So once we get to the analyze command, we're going to say try. If the command, right, so if this string right here that we established here equals takeoff, which you heard me, then we're going to do tello.takeoff. Else if, so elif command equals land, then we're going to land. And these are really simple methods. And you can see all the methods here in the documentation for the Tello Pi API reference. And they're really simple. So let's take a look at takeoff. And you can see you pass nothing and it just automatically takes off by itself. Land is the same way, automatic landing, which is really cool. You heard me say move up. So move up is you have to pass it in integer, which is in centimeters, right? Fly X centimeters up. You heard me say move down. This is in alphabetical order. Same thing, you just pass it the centimeters. You heard me do a flip. And all I did was program this flip right. But you have the option of flipping, right? So it does a flip maneuver. Flip back. So it'll flip backwards if you wanted to. Flip forwards, flip left, flip right. I just did a flip right for the video. All right. So elif, the command moves up. Then we do tello.move up, and I passed it 30 centimeters. Elif, the command moves down. Then we did 30 centimeters down. And then the command equals do a flip. And then we just did flip right. Anything else, it'll just print down here saying, I don't understand that command. That way you know you haven't programmed that yet. You will get an exception sometimes, and we're just going to pass on that so it comes back to this try loop. But it's important to note that this Tello drone is very squirrely, and it took me a couple days to figure it out. So there are two visual sensors at the bottom of the Tello drone, and this is called visual positioning system. And so I was getting errors because I was trying it on my wooden floor in my kitchen, and it did not like that. I don't know if it was the glare or something, but I did it in my living room where the carpet is pretty standardized. I turned on all the lights to include my ring light that's on me now, and I just flooded it with light, and it really liked that, and I didn't get any errors. So if you're getting a UMI, well, let's check it out, see exactly what I'm talking about. So let's go Tello no UMI, I think it was called. Yeah, it's a UMI error. I can't remember what it was called. UMI error. Yeah, so I can't find what specific one. I think it was a 442 error or 446 error. Yeah, 446 error, I think. Yeah, Yumi code. No valid IMU. There we go. So if you get this right here, it's no valid IMU. Let's say what this is. Yeah, it doesn't say. But at the time, I could do takeoff and land, and that was it. But when I tried to move it, I got this no valid IMU. So if you get that, you can try to recalibrate it, but that sucks a lot. So what I did was I went to a place where there's no pattern, right? So my carpet, and then two, I flooded it with light. So I imagine outdoors would work fine on like concrete or grass, but indoors it did not like my wooden floor with some, just normal house lighting. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm not going to run it because it doesn't like, the Vosk library doesn't like me using my microphone for my recording the video as well, but you saw from the initial video of how it works. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and goodbye, world.